Welcome back. Hey everybody, this is Rydo. We're gonna do some more Hearthstone. I know on that first recording I said I was gonna play a little bit more off screen, but actually, no I didn't. I was so burnt out on just doing the tutorial that I called it a day. Okay, so getting into this start screen here, to my surprise, the season ended uh, today. It says November season, so um, I guess you could make the assumption that each season is a month. I got to level 20, so I was ranked shield bearer, which will get me something. Let's see. Yep, new card back. As long as you make it to level 20 from, I think you start at level 22. We'll see, because that's what it's going to start me over now. Uh, what I'm trying as a tradition, because I made it to level 20 here, it's saying I got 5 bonus stars. So it's gonna skip me ahead a little bit. Theoretically, if I was a really great Hearthstone player and I was like ranked a legendary, and I'll explain what that is, I would get tons of bonus stars and start at like a rank 1 or 2 on the next season. A legendary is after you're ranked 1, you have to get like 5 or 8 more stars, and then you become a legendary, and that's an kind of a leaderboard ranking. So a legendary 1 is the best player in the game, and legendary 2 is the worst player. There's some more math that goes into it, so you have to keep on playing. You can't just become legendary 1 and you stay legendary 1. I think pretty much, I've never gotten anywhere close to being legendary, but I think if they don't play pretty much for 8 hours a day or more, that they're not going to keep their win to loss ratio high enough to keep them up in the legendary. And the top 4 legendaries of a season are often taken to a uh, actual live tournament at some coliseum somewhere, and they play in front of cameras for probably thousands of dollars. But that's all pro gaming stuff. Okay, so I said you started at 22. It's not quite true. You start at 23. Doesn't really matter. You just have to get a few wins. Um, here's your proof that I did not play anymore. I mean, same quest as before. One thing I've decided to do in my last recording was I'm just going to habitually apologize for the previous recording and then move on with the assumption I'm going to apologize for this recording in the next recording. So I'd like to apologize for screwing up the settings and not making it so you could actually see the mouse. That's actually an option in the recording thing. So I pointed at things a lot doing the tutorial. Probably at some point in the distant future I'll come back and redo the tutorial, because I was pointing at all kinds of things and you'd get like the highlight when I highlighted it, but if we were at like my collection and I was like describing cards, like I was circling things, I was explaining things. It would have made a lot more sense if you could see the mouse. I could see the mouse, so it did not show apparently to me that you couldn't see it. Sorry about that. Also, should probably apologize for being bad at the game and not really making any progress. So let's see what we're gonna get in the game. I still need 2 wins with a druid or hunter and 2 wins with a rogue or warrior. I think I'm gonna do a rogue, and then I gotta do 40 spells. It was a waste to not open up at least one of these, finish one of these, because had I finished one and come back a day later, which is a day later since the last Hearthstone recording, there would have been a new thing opened up. So I would have gotten another opportunity to earn 40. So if you want to get the gold, you've got to play at least every 3 days and do all the quests in every 3 days. When I first started playing, I played every day. You'd get a quest, you play every day. They really like you to do that. It's kind of a lot of a commitment. But if this is the only game you play, you're doing pretty good because it's a free game, and it doesn't cost you anything as long as you keep play enough to earn your gold. So I'm gonna just go in here as the rogue. Her ability is 2 mana crystals to equip a 1/2 dagger. We're starting off here at rank level 23. I have to get basically 2 wins to get to 22. Should be pretty easy. We're gonna try to get to at least level 20. Once you get to 20, you can't fall back below 20. Once you get to 20, you get the free card back. If you get anything else for beating a season at a really high rank, I don't know about it. I've ended seasons at like rank 18, uh, but never any really higher than that. It's a significantly different game when you start playing with higher ranked players that know what they're doing and have the good cards. Alright, backstab, deal 2 damage to undamaged minions and spells. So as you can see, my deck is set up so that I play these guys, it does a +1 spell damage. That would change this backstab to deal 3 damage. I get both of these guys on the field, they'll do 4 damage to an undamaged minion for no mana crystals. 4 kills most creatures, but I'm gonna be the second player. That's why I have 4 cards. If you didn't catch it at the start, having 4 cards means you're gonna go second. Right now I need starter cards, and since the zeros are nice and all, probably should have kept 1, but this is a pretty good time. TV's still screwing up on me. It's screwing up real bad. I'll have to figure out what's going on there. I probably just need to put a different HDMI cord on. Having 1s and 3s as your start draw is a perfectly fine start draw, because on the first turn you can play this one like I'm going to. On the second turn you can play your 2 mana item, and on the third time you turn you're right back to summoning something. So I'm pretty well set for summoning. Plus I have this coin which I need to use sometime before the 10th turn. Alright, so kind of want a creature out. Let's see, 4 damage, that'll keep him alive for a little bit. Figure I'll just go ahead and use the coin and bring out this Dalaran mage. I don't try to pronounce the names. It doesn't matter the names. It could just be Guy. I mean, they could all just be Guy. The names are all World of Warcraft stuff, I assume, and I don't play World of Warcraft, so I don't know anything about the mythology there. It seems to be mostly basic fantasy stuff. I haven't seen a ton of crazy stuff. Alright, so this is one of the big weapons, since you have the ability with this character to equip a weapon. You're gonna think about making a weapon-friendly deck. So Assassin's Blade here is 3 attack with 4 uses. But on top of that, probably having this deck a couple of 1 mana cards that will add 2 attack to this. So I could do, if I had those 2 cards and equip this, I could do maybe 7 damage 4 times. 7, 14, 21, 28. Almost all the damage from the beginning with a 3 card combination there. Of course that would have to be somewhere like the 7th turn, because I'd need 5 mana crystals to summon this, and then 2 more to put on the damage. Swipe does 4 damage and then 1 damage to everything else. Probably didn't need 2 of those. No, definitely didn't need 2 of those. Alright, so I didn't use this card when I had the +1 spell damage. She got rid of that one. Let's see, I could do a 4/5 or I could do this.
We must
I think I'll do
cleanse the
this.
Sunwell.
Keep this one alive one more time.
Push forward.
Do some face damage.
Job's done.
Goatee. Level 23, just like me. They trying to match you up. So here's a just started player, just like me. I mean, today is the first day of the season, so a lot of people gonna be at level 23. But lot better chance of winning at level 23 than even at level 20. When you start getting above 19 or 18, it really weeds out the people that just got lucky to get to 19 or 18, and you start to playing with people that actually know what they're doing.
You to master.
This guy has yet to get anybody on deck. I mean, we're on the 5th turn, and he has not summoned anyone as far as I recall. Over here, you can see the last few actions, but you can't scroll down or pull this log up later. A lot of times I'll see something that looks fishy, like was he cheating or something? Did he hack the system? And I'd like to go back and figure out what happened, but I can't. And a lot of times I will go back and look at it and go, oh, that's what he did. That was a legal move. No hacks here. It's just I wasn't paying attention.
So many options.
Alright, so I have 6. Let's go ahead and use her ability. You gotta get rid of this guy first, so.
For master.
Push forward.
Panther.
Here we go.
Save myself a little bit of health here, and just attack the face. If I attack the Panther, it'll do 3 damage to me too. But we're doing fine. I mean, that's their first creature. I mean, either they have terrible cards in their hand because they just don't have cards or know how to play, or what. This is actually a bad move. They just use this Iron Beak Owl to silence an enemy. Silence is a big X on the description of what they do. So his death rattle won't work now because he's been silenced. But it's actually a terrible thing to do with Fugan because I don't have Stalag summoned or dead yet. So you can silence him all you want. When he's dead, Stalag will still do his death rattle, which will check to see if he's dead and still activate. You only want to silence a Fugan or Stalag after the other partner there has already died. Just go ahead and do 1 damage and draw the card. She had a death rattle added to her to turn her into a Trent. That's pretty typical for this character. Let's see. Do one of these. Do one of these. I don't even have any spells at the moment, but I still have 1 more use on this.
Here we go.
So, might as well just attack the face. No need to do a lot of control here. He can do 4 damage, but he won't do enough damage to beat me at 7 to 29.
Just me and Mr. Vital.
These 2 he just summoned don't have charge. These 2 don't have charge, so he's trying to control the situation now, and he's not gonna be able to do it because I have 2 left here to do 6, and then I can just equip this. Let's see, so do 3 damage to an undamaged minion. Just for the fun of it, we'll do that. We'll do this. We got so much mana and really nothing to do with it. So we've won this. Sometimes the really early
Here
players
we
will
go.
well play you if you're about to win and they know they've lost, but there's a level of snidness that comes in real fast, and you stop well playing somebody to beat you unless you feel like they played really well. A lot of times people beat you, they didn't play well, they just got luckier. Got to a new level, unlocked a new gold version of cards for the rogue fan of knives. I already had 2 fan of knives unlocked. You get the regular gray versions of the cards pretty early on in leveling up your heroes. The difference between the gray and the gold is just the border. So, I mean, it's all prestige. I can go into the setup and take the gray out, put the gold in, but I only got 1 gold, so I'll probably do that later. Cast a few spells, made some more progress. We need 1 more win. Stupid TV still flashing. I gotta fix that. Gotta fix that. Gotta put down the controller and quit playing games for enough time to actually do some tech support. I just noticed this tells the time I'm recording at. I'm glad it doesn't tell the date too, but man, I don't like that. Of course, then there is also a good chance that my computer, since I just installed it, there's a good chance the clock is wrong. It may not actually be the accurate time. I don't know, maybe Hearthstone connects to their servers and tells you the time based on that. Don't need this guy. I would like these guys, but this is a first draw, so I'm just gonna shuffle them all. See, this is how you can tell somebody has a bad deck, not good cards. A great deck, it wouldn't matter. Your first 3 cards you draw, you'd always see a pattern there, a way to play, to do something. Bad deck, you have to draw all 3 again, and just like what happened, you can't do anything. That's what this little green is indicating. It's like literally the game knows there's nothing you can possibly do. No options whatsoever. It's glowing green, it wants you to end the turn, keep the game speed up. They've done a lot to keep the game speed up in Hearthstone. Compared to playing a regular trading card game in the real world, those games could go on for hours and hours because very few people are playing by like time limits or anything like that. You're gonna just sit there and look at all your decks, your cards, and think every single possible scenario in the world. 1 more win will get me to level 22. So I can do 1 damage and draw a card, and I can equip this. I'm gonna do 1 damage and draw a card because I need cards I can use.
Job's done.
And I didn't get it. Well, I guess I can use Fan of Knives. Here's the regular grayback version I was talking about. Notice again, this player is not doing any better than I am. So, in all actuality, it's probably matching me up very well to people of my same deck level. I'd say deck level, not skill level. I mean, I've been playing card games quite a lot in my life. I'm a better card game player than what would be indicated in Hearthstone. It's just about the cards that you've unlocked. And sadly, that's true for all trading card games, too. If somebody is rich, or have rich parents when they were kids, they would have way better Magic decks because those parents would go and buy like a pack a week or a box a week. If somebody was poor, no, your parents wouldn't buy them for you. One of the things that was particularly nefarious in Magic the Gathering, too, was the rules at least when I was playing, said you had to put up a random card from your deck as gambling, and wow, I mean, so you might have like
Job's
one
done.
great card, lose a game against somebody, and then they would win your great card. Or they would just win your cards, even if it wasn't a great card. I mean, you have to have a certain number of cards in a Magic deck, and if you lose a lot, you would be below the minimum to do anything. Plus, you would get worse every card you lost.
Charge forward!
So it was really favoring the rich, and pretty nefarious.
Someone
gambling.
call the doctor.
I don't know if Pokemon started off with any gambling. It probably didn't. I know lots of parents were rightfully upset about the thought of their kids gambling with cards, and that's all it was gambling. Game of skill or not, you're still putting something up that you could lose, and parents don't want that to happen ever. They don't want their kids losing their toys or trading their toys. Sometimes trading toys might be acceptable, but most parents wouldn't even be happy about that.
I wonder.
That was, I think, in Pogs too, that you would put like a Pog up back when that was a fad up for gambling, and lots of parents were upset about that too. Pogs were a really weird fad.
What now?
Back in the old days before, I feel like the common sense of the internet came around, and what I think I would define the common sense of the internet is that there are enough people with loud enough voices these days to say when something is stupid, even when there are companies or other people trying to push something. Because Pogs, I remember seeing like news reports about how Pogs were the in thing and they were the big Christmas item, and a lot of that fad was more than likely just intended by toy companies.
Here we
And
go.
if the internet
Here
had
we
been
go.
around when Pogs came out, people would have said it was an incredibly dumb game and a waste of money, and people would have thought about it for a second and said, yeah, that's true. Pogs are dumb. We had so many dumb fads in the 80s and 90s. We had slappers, which were just like rulers that would cut into your skin and wrap around as bracelets. They kind of what they were the measuring tape that you get in, and they just whenever would cut up inaccurate measuring tape and
So many
wrap it in a
options.
thin layer of alright, let's see. Give my weapon poison. Here's the thing. So I'm gonna have 3 attack, and then I'm gonna use this to destroy my weapon, and do 3 to everybody involved. All the So now I have this guy's pretty bad. He gets more attack every time. He gains three attack every time he's damaged. I think that says 1. One of the problems with this game is that you cannot see the modified number. So I can't see if that is a 1 or 3 or what. So I'm just gonna have to go on space as 1 and
Here we
just
go.
smack him in the face. I'm taking 8 damage to just get rid of him. He can get very powerful very fast if you're not paying attention. What were some other dumb things, fads? Let's see. Yo-yos were a big dumb fad in the 80s. Most people will fully admit today that yo-yos are not fun. They were fun in the 40s, in the 60s when there was nothing else, but when you start having options to do other things, yo-yos aren't fun.
Yes.
Alright, so I've used one of my deadly poisons. That was the card I was talking about before that adds 2 attack to your weapons. I'm not gonna attack this guy. I don't. It's gonna do 1 damage and trade off for 1 damage. I'm already down to 11. Just gonna try and get some more cards out there.
We
Got
must
3 mana
cleanse
left.
the
I'm gonna
Sunwell.
beef up this shield guy. Yep, that's his name, Shield Guy. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce what his real name is. Okay, so you'll notice here that it's not glowing green because I can actually attack. There's more things I could do, but I'm not going to, so I'm gonna end my turn early in a sense. There were fads later in the mid 90s and early 90s that I wouldn't say are particularly dumb. There was the whole scooter fad, and not a dumb fad. It got
What
kids out there
now?
doing stuff. Skateboarding is its own culture, and I would never say that it rises to the level of fads. It's just kind of um, something that's always there for a certain percentage of people. Um, Biking, the same thing. I don't recall there ever being a huge biking fad. They had the little wheeler things where you put wheels in the back of shoes, and those are still popular today. I see little kids rolling down grocery stores with those, and still today. It's a little weird that they let their kids do that because I would just think they'd fall on their heads and do brain damage, but it also gets them moving around too. So I'm not immediately completely opposed to them. Alright, so now I have a free shot, and I'm gonna
Here
use it.
we go.
Also using up the last few, so now, next turn, if I felt like it, I could summon this Assassin's Blade. Assassin's Blade with the Deadly Poison is a better combination, because you only get 2 uses out of this dagger, versus 4 uses out
They'll
of this.
never know what it is.
Deals 3 damage when it's first summoned. That's what Battle Cry is. It just does something when it's first summoned. So we're going for the Thanos. I don't think that's his name. We'll see his name. Combination here. So they're in trouble now. As long as they can't kill me really fast, I am going to be able to summon. It's Thaddeus, that's his name. Thanos is a character from Marvel, I believe. You can actually summon this on top of this and just destroy it, so you don't have to use the 2 uses. But what I really do have to do right now, where I can screw up, is not killing this guy. So that was a trade-off, but it'll be worth it. Notice he had 3
Too soon.
shields, so I did no damage. His ability gives him 2 armor. All I did was get rid of those 3 shields. Yeah, he's still dead. I'm at 5. There are lots of cards in decks that can do 5 damage. Destroy and damage enemy. See, he doesn't understand how the cards work in that. Here we go. Thaddeus, 11-11. This may scare him enough to just surrender right now.
The gates are open.
Alright, so I'd love to get rid of this guy, but there's no way. If I could do 5 damage, he'd 6 damage and defeat me. So
I wonder.
let's see. Yeah, I can play every card in my hand here. I'm just going to. This now does 5 damage.
We must cleanse the
This
Sunwell.
guy is gonna get a little bit more damage. Gonna use my Thaddeus to get rid of him. He's in big trouble if this card isn't a creature, or or the next one he draws is not a creature.
Here we go.
Because he will not be able to defeat me. As long as he can't do 5 damage. Still a chance. Still a really big chance that he's going to pull out a card that's just going to do 5 damage.
Pass me that arc light spanner.
Desperation play. Anytime in any trading card game where you have cards that just make you draw more cards, that means you don't have enough cards. You want every card to be more valuable than that. There's some exceptions to that. There is in Yu-Gi-Oh! A thing where if you have 5 of the same of a series of cards, you just automatically win. So you could have a deck that's just like draw those 5 cards and try and get those 5 cards and win automatically. Because of this, like you automatically win no matter what.
Forward.
There we go. I have now doubled the number of victories that you saw in the first recording. Doing a little bit better, and I would attribute that 100% to fighting level 23 people. So we got our 2 rogue wins. We won the 40 gold. It's going into our little bank. We're done with that challenge. I think I'll probably, on days I'm gonna decide to play Hearthstone, maybe it will be just like Wednesday. I'm gonna like record multiple recordings, split them up, but not actually stop playing until I have them all. So we can play as a druid or a hunter. I think you saw a hunter before. Let's play as a druid. Druid has the one attack, 1 armor ability. A lot of things in the youth that parents wished or thought were going to be fads and weren't. Video games. Certainly. I mean, I'm sure almost all the parents thought that video games were going to dissipate and people would be back to riding bikes as much as they used to have been. And all that, and certainly not the truth. There was a entire video game, what would be the right word? Crash that happened before 83, and Nintendo came back into the market with the NES. So they tried to do video games with the things like the Atari, then the Commodore 64, and that all failed and bankrupted most of the companies. So certainly a lot of evidence that video games could not succeed in the market. But it was just the right time, the right place, and the right companies to not put. What they would do would be like Atari and Commodore 64 would allow just about any game whatsoever be on their console. When Nintendo came out with the NES, they came out with the Nintendo seal of approval. They're trying to say, the games we let on our console are good games. We're not going to let garbage come out. And they kind of stuck to that and for the most part believed in that. And it wasn't just advertising. There was lots of games that were sold without the seal of approval, that all the packaging would not mention the NES or say specifically it's not for use in the NES, and then you would go plug it into an NES because it was the exact same shape as the cartridge and it would play. I know I had gotten one that wasn't officially approved, and so the original NES, you put the cartridge in and you'd snap it down. It would swing down into place. And the one game I had that wasn't officially supposed to work on the NES, you put it in but you didn't snap it and it would play because for that reason. Very weird. So I need to do 5 damage. How can I do 5 damage? Here's how I do 5
For the
damage.
wilds.
I
For the
attack.
wilds. For the wilds.
What's going on?
For the
There you go.
wilds.
Don't want to work today. So that gets him down to 4. That goes down to 1.
Oh,
And that gets
if you're
him down
sure.
to 0. Very much pretty big sacrifice to get rid of that one character. Still have that other one. But didn't do any damage to me because I had 3 shields. So not a terrible for him attacking, but terrible to lose 2 characters. Then this guy comes in and he gives him a 2+2 and taunt, which makes him a shield guy. So now I gotta do 4 damage. How am I gonna do 4 damage? Same question over again. Let's
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
I just want this guy going. I'm behind the curve. What is...
For the wilds.
It's making me hold down the mouse with this guy, and usually I'm able just to click it. But, I don't know, it's irritating me today, I guess. There's a lot of things that are still around from my youth that I wish weren't. One thing that comes particularly to mind is like the old TI 83 calculators. We had TI 83 calculators when I was a kid, and there's still the requirement for math classes, and that's just kind of ridiculous. You're talking a decade and a half, maybe 2 decades, and it's still the exact same model for the most part, calculator. And the reason why it's there is just TI, as the company, is pretty good at convincing them to make it the required calculator, when in all actuality the required calculator should be, alright, everybody pull out your cell phone that I know you have and you're not supposed to have, but we all know you do have, and just use that like you're going to the rest of your life.
For the wilds.
There you go, I clicked it that time and it stuck.
Job done.
They like the TI-83 because it has a standardized way to reset all the memory so that you can't hide notes and cheat in the TI calculators, but or have games on the TI calculators. But none of that is actually true. There are sneaky little programs you can put on a TI calculator to make it look like you reset the memory and you didn't. There are sneaky little games you can put on you so you can sit there and play, and there are sneaky little ways to hide notes. People get very smart when they want to cheat. In fact, they probably get a lot smarter than just, you know, doing the work and learning the stuff. A lot of stuff in school is just taught to be taught. A lot of it's not needed in today's day and age.
For the
A lot of it has no real relativity.
Job done.
But I mean, that's also different too. They teach tons of math that if you were gonna grow up and be a engineer, I'm sure taking 12 years of math is just the very basics, the minimum of what you would need to be an engineer and develop, I don't know, some kind of cold fusion device that's gonna create energy for free. But if you were gonna be, say, an artist, well, 12 years of math is not gonna do you a lot of good. There is math and geometry in particular in art. You want to know the golden rule, the 2/3 rule of aesthetics. You want to learn all those rules and master them, so then after you're a master of them, you can break them and become a true avant-garde artist usually, but you're not going to use a lot of math. You're going to want to know how to add and subtract and how to try and sell your art. Not that art really sells in your lifetime for any of that. I always had a problem with English as a class. A lot of English is was, at least in my time, about reading stories and writing book reports and writing essays. And none of that seemed like it was relevant. None of that seemed like it was important. Sure, you kind of need to know how to spell words, particularly easy words that most people use. You need to know how to spell those. But a lot of words in spelling uh, on spelling tests were words that weren't used in regular English, so you would never use them. But I don't need to really know how to spell procrastinate for as many times as I'm gonna write it down. I can just go and look it up, particularly in a world with Google. I mean, Google answers so many of the questions. It would be a funny scientific experiment if we just had Google go through 12 years of education. Some some impartial party would just type in the questions that the teachers would ask for 12 years and write down whatever Google returned as the answer, and just see what kind of student Google would be. I'm betting Google would be on the AB honor roll, for sure. Uh, And that's part of the knowledge of the internet too. That just the masses can't. Scientific studies have shown that if you get enough common people who aren't even that intelligent together, they will be just as accurate as asking a panel of 10 experts. I mean, it sounds crazy to say that, but yeah, 1,000 common people answering a question on Google will just be as close to the same accuracy as 10 experts on this subject.
They'll never know what hit them.
I'm sure there are situations where that is not true. Oh, I did not need this guy to show up. I'm down to one. I have not been paying attention. I've got to do... Well, I can't do anything. He just beat me. If you want to win, you got to pay attention. Rule number one in most games. I'm sure there is a game out there where you win by not paying attention. But we're getting a lockup from the server here. Let's see. It's not going to show me the ending until it pulls out the let's see what game is timed out. This is a problem that happens with Hearthstone. Because it's an internet game, you'll lose connection. So I'm not going to make you sit here and watch more black screen, because that's all you're seeing at the moment. Uh, it it closed to me, it lost the internet connection. More than likely, that means that the servers are down for a while. Will that be an hour? Will that be a day? Who knows? Probably too many people playing on the new season. So that's the end of this episode. Thank you everybody for watching, and have a good day.